Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Monday. Now, when you're fishing shallow with a chatterbait, the ½ ounce is going to do the bulk of the work. Probably 90% of the time I am throwing a ½ ounce. But as we get into the fall, fish move really shallow. Not only is the 3/8 going to keep that bait in the perfect water column, but you're also going to land more fish. So I want to dive into why the 3/8 is very important this time of year, skipping it under boat docks and trees, or even fishing it in 1.5 feet of water for bass that have pushed bait up super shallow, and why you are going to land more fish with that bait, especially this time of year. Now, I want to thank you guys for subscribing to my channel, liking these videos, leaving me comments. I will get back to all of those, so thank you again for that. Now, the 3/8 is not one I'm going to throw a whole lot in the spring. If I have fish that are in less than 2 feet of water, then yes, but most of the time when I'm fishing 2.5 to 5 feet, the ½ ounce is the perfect size for that. And in the springtime, you have bass that are moving shallow, they're coming out of deeper, colder water, and they need to be tucked down to the bottom to keep their eggs incubated or just to be warmer. And that ½ ounce is perfect. You want to keep it as close to the bottom as you can. Deflection off the bottom is good, and that's the perfect size. But as we get into the fall, when bass are getting shallower than 2 feet of water, if you're skipping it under docks, laydowns, low-hanging trees, whatever it may be, or just fishing in those places where bass never really get any other time of the year, the 3/8 is a killer size. So if you think you can just take your ½ ounce and go run way back into that pocket where bass never are any other time of the year, you're going to lose fish and you're not going to present your bait in the right water column. So I'm going to go into both of those. So anytime I'm fishing a bait moving on the bottom like a crankbait or a chatterbait, it is very important to deflect off the bottom. That's going to get a reaction strike, but also you don't want to be grinding your bait into the bottom because you're going to lose a lot of fish. Fish are going to bite the back of your lure. You know, obviously the hooks are on the bottom and they're just not going to get the bait. They're going to kind of trap it against the bottom and you're going to lose a lot of fish. So if it's square bill cranking or even a chatterbait, you want that bait enough off the bottom most of the time to where a bass can get underneath it and get it good. So with deep cranking and stuff like that, where those baits are notorious for grinding into the bottom, you watch the guys cranking, they usually stop. Crank, stop. Let that bait come off the bottom a little bit. You can do the same thing with square bills. You're winding along, and you feel the bottom. You know, let that bait come off the bottom so fish are not trying to just smash it against the bottom, because most of the time you're going to lose those fish. Now, if you're in stained water and you're in shallower than 2 feet, I think it's very important to keep that bait up as high as you can keep it without it, you know, coming out of the water. But you don't want it to be bogging down into whatever's on the bottom. You know, a lot of those really shallow areas are going to have some type of sediment on the bottom, or you're just going to be doing the same thing where you're keeping that bait in the bottom and the fish can't get it. So I like a 3/8 to keep it up in that stained water column is the most important thing. So if you have it, you know, here's the bottom of the lake, you have it right here, the bass might be only biting it when it's right here, or the big bass might be only biting it when it's right here. So that 3/8, you're going to keep it up. You're going to keep it in the perfect water column. That is everything in off-colored water. So chatterbait, ½ ounce is what I keep most of mine in. But when I am imitating shad, in those places where they don't typically get, a 3/8 is great. So when I think about, let's say a pocket, for example, in the springtime, if you have relatively clear enough water, those bass can spawn out in 5 feet of water and they're not going to push way into the backs of the pocket. You know, unless they're chasing bait or something, they're going to spawn as close to the main river or as close to the main creek channel as they can. So they're going to stay right here at the entrance of the pocket. So here's the pocket. In the springtime, they may go shallow, but they're going to try to stay as close to deep water as possible. Summertime, they're going to be out. And then when they come back in the fall, the shallowest they'll ever get, they will chase bait and live as far back as they possibly can get. So springtime, a ½ ounce on that 3 to 5 foot range, perfect. But when they push way back, they're chasing bait, they're going to go and eat every single bait fish and push them back into the backs of the pockets. That 3/8 is just going to keep that bait up, keep it where they can see it, where they can get it, and it's very important to change to that size this time of year. So try a 3/8 ounce chatterbait in the fall. Good luck to you guys, and I'll see you on the water.